Good morning. This is Dylan Jovine from Behind the Markets. Happy Thursday. Today is Thursday, March 27th, and it is National Joe Day. And they're talking about a cup of coffee. You remember when we were growing up? A cup of coffee is a cup of Joe. I'm going to go get a cup of Joe. Now, I still use that. I'm going to go get a cup of Joe. And the young people that work at the firm should be in there like, you're getting a cup of what? They can't even believe that or say that. But I also did a quick look, and I found out that we've had hundreds and hundreds of new members join us. Who named Joe, Joseph, or Josephine, or anything derivative thereof. So if your name is Joe, Joseph, Josephine, or anything like that, happy National U Day also. Today, I want to talk about Elon Musk going to the Pentagon last week. There was a whole big kerfuffle about it. In the New York Times, the Wall Street Journal, all the papers of record, there were headlines that Elon Musk going to the Pentagon to discuss China war plans. Think about that. Think about that. That it's so understood or taken for granted that it's going to happen, a war with China is going to happen, that a headline like that just seems like ordinary in the Wall Street Journal these days. And it's really a contrast with 5 years ago or so when we first started putting out documentaries and videos and really predicting war with China, or warning really about war with China. We spent a lot of money over many years marketing about this. We marketed it so extensively, the research package that we had put together on this, we marketed it so aggressively and extensively that the Chinese Communist Party actually sent a lady down from the tri-state area in New York, Boston, to meet me for dinner and sit down and talk with me. And I remember telling you guys about that the last 2 years ago. And she sat down with me and she said, why are you saying that there's going to be a war with China? And she asked me a bunch of creepy questions. Then she invited me to go out to China, which I declined because I don't want to be locked away in a prison in China. And here I am. So why did Elon Musk go to the Pentagon last week? And by the way, it should be stated for the record, Trump walked that back, said, oh, he's not going to discuss war plans with China. He's just going to the Pentagon. So for the record, but we all know that's probably not the truth. But why would Elon Musk go to the Pentagon to discuss China war plans? Look, Elon Musk owns Starlink. And if I was running the Pentagon, what I would be doing is bringing in everybody who owns satellite companies and letting them know this truth, that if there is a conflict with China, that the first thing I would do if I was China or America is I would just point missiles and knock out satellites, because satellites are the eyes and ears of modern war. Remember, these missile systems and all this stuff is used satellite to communicate for targeting, for direction, for all these things. So if you knock out your opponent's satellite, you really have a serious advantage. You blind them, which is very important in warfare, as history has proven repeatedly. You really need to understand, remember, back in the day, we used to create satellites, put satellites up that looked like buses. They were huge. And now with Starlink and all these other people, they've created much smaller satellites as technology has advanced. And now we're moving into a world of distributed satellites. So somebody shoots a missile up at a satellite. These satellites, instead of a big bus there, they get hit real easily. Now these satellites just could disperse and then come back together and then fly like a little swarm and do all these things, let the missile go right through, which is also why the moon has become very important again. Hasn't been this important since the Kennedy's moon project. And a lot of people say, why is the moon suddenly important again? I will tell you why it's important again. The Earth is here, the moon is here. That makes the moon the ultimate high ground. So you are going to see the moon get weaponized if it's not already happening. Because again, in a potential conflict, the country that knocks out the opponent's satellite communication system first is basically kneecaps the opponent and has a serious advantage. So if you're closer, if you're in the moon, you're obviously closer to space, you can do things like that, whether it's electronic warfare or projectile missiles or whatever it is to knock out your opponent's satellites. Why did Elon Musk go to the Pentagon? Remember something, folks. We've been talking about this for such a long time, and people thought we were basically absurd for a long time. Remember, Google and Facebook banned our accounts. They say you can't say that kind of stuff. And now it's on the front page of the Wall Street Journal. I'd love to take a bow for that, but it's a Pyrrhic victory, because this is one prediction that I've made in my life that I pray that I'm wrong on. But look, let us be real. Let us be sober. If you are China, remember, President Xi Jinping said, be ready to invade, take Taiwan by 2027. And the truth is, the longer China waits, the more we're positioning assets to that area, the more cost it'll take for them to actually succeed. So China has this window. You don't know if they're going to do it in 2025, 2026, 2027, but they have a little window here of opportunity where if you're Xi Jinping and you're looking at Taiwan right there, and this is part of your legacy, you want to be up there with Mao as one of the key seminal leaders of China. You want to end their century of humiliation, quote unquote. You want to take Taiwan. And you look at America, and you see an America that's divided against itself, that is fighting with its allies. You might say to yourself, God, Taiwan looks very tempting. Taiwan looks very tempting. Let us take Taiwan. Let's take Taiwan. And if you take Taiwan, you own and control AI. End of story, end of discussion. It is game, set, match. So you can't give that away if you're America. China is saying to themselves, gosh, we want to be the future, the rulers of AI. So it's like a wolf looking at a lamb or a sheep over there and licking its chops. That's how they're looking at Taiwan. Taiwan unlocks a lot of things for China. We are putting missiles and batteries and we're doing all these things. But if you're Xi Jinping, you're thinking to yourself, gosh, the longer I wait, the more assets the United States is going to move into the region and higher the cost it'll be for me to take Taiwan. So we have entered that window that I long predicted about years ago. We've entered that critical 36-month window. And if I was a betting man, I would say that Xi Jinping's best maximum window of opportunity, unfortunately, is during the Trump administration. And we will see if Trump actually dissuades him from doing it. Anyway, that is enough sober talk for today. I hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you tomorrow.